Welcome back to the Fem Sean podcast.
Fem Sean.
This is chapter 1 of our continuing education series. And today we're getting into basics of physiology?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Basics of physiology. We have this handy dandy camera set up.
Hey yo.
So hopefully in post.
In post. That's me.
You can
Pre, post, and during.
You can see the book with us, but this is the book that we're using. They're all pretty much the same. It's all the same information. Generally, all the chapters are kind of pretty similar too, but
Okay.
this is just the book that I used.
That's great.
And we're on chapter 1.
Chapter 1. Great. Sean wanted me to give you guys a disclaimer that he doesn't normally teach this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He uses it, but he doesn't often teach it. So this is a fun project for us where he gets to sharpen his teaching skills.
Yes.
And I just get to be curious. Curious, clever, and funny. That's my only job. All right, so let's begin. You said you wanted to ask a question.
Yes. So I think, because there's a lot of details in here. There's a lot of things that you can kind of get caught up on. And when I initially took this course, you had to remember all those details. Especially if you're trying to be like an exercise physiologist, because you have to know all those details when you're doing experiments and stuff.
Yeah.
But most of those details don't really matter, and they don't really carry over to a lot in sort of our world. Even like physical therapy, they don't really carry over. So to help us kind of guide our way through this, the question that I've got a bunch of notes here. The question that I have for you, and I want you to answer this, is what component of the neuromuscular system is the main driver in strength gains or strength loss?
What component of the muscular system,
Of the neuromuscular system.
the neuromuscular system, is the main driver
Yeah.
of strength gain and strength
Yep.
loss?
So someone's working out and they get stronger.
Dang.
What happened? Why did they get stronger? Or, like in my case,
Yeah.
I'm not using my arm. Why is that thing atrophying? Why is the muscle getting smaller? What's the main driver of that?
My answer is neuromuscular communication.
Communication. That's a really good answer.
Thank you.
Yeah, great answer.
And what's the right answer?
Well, we'll figure it out together.
That's very Bob Ross of you.
And I think hopefully at the end we can all...
how fun. This is a really fun way to start it.
We can all
that was
answer
very
it
clever.
together. Yeah.
Okay. I'm nervous about it too. My palms are sweaty. All right, well, let's dive in and let's see if Stacy's right. What a fun game.
Okay, so this is chapter 1, structure and function of the exercising muscle, but really it's just any muscle in general. Okay, here we go.
All right.
So we're starting off with just sort of the basic components. If you're learning about how to rebuild a car, you got to figure out what's the
parts even
transmission.
are.
Yeah, exactly.
When is
What
the
am-
transmission?
Yeah.
But I don't really know.
Can you point to it?
No.
Okay. Well,
Can
you start
you?
there. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's great.
So there's sort of two components of the neuromuscular system.
Nerves.
Nerves,
And muscles.
and muscles. So neuromuscular system, there's two components, nerves and muscles. So we're looking at the muscle here.
Okay.
Bone, tendon, and then the muscle. And then the muscle sort of gets broken down into smaller and smaller groups. And you see these little white lines. There's a specific name for it, but this is also what people are calling fascia. And there's a white line around it, and then there's also white fascia that sort of connects this to the skin and all those things together.
Cool.
So if you've ever like cut into a steak, some of the gristly parts,
Yeah.
that's this.
Cool. It also makes me think of like when you're peeling an orange, all the little like
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
Similar in concept.
Similar. It's a thing that separates.
Separates and holds things together kind
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because it separates it into groups.
Cool.
Okay, so we work our way down to the smallest piece. This right here is a muscle fiber, but it's also called a muscle cell. So this is sort of the cell of the muscle, and it's broken up into a bunch of different parts, which we'll kind of learn later on.
Okay. And as this comes out, all of this is actually quite small, but it's enlarged for the picture.
Yeah, it's enlarged for the picture. Very, very small.
But this is one of those little doolies.
Yeah.
Okay. One of those little doolies, or it's like the like in. Like how zoomed in is that?
It's one of those little doolies.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And this is a muscle fiber.
Fabulous.
And so there's a specific number. It's somewhere in the order of thousands of muscle fibers per muscle. And obviously it depends, like some of the muscles in your forearms have less muscle fibers. And then like your pec, this thing is so broad and it's made up of thousands of muscle fibers.
Cool.
And then it gets broken down. And so this is what I'm talking about. Some of these highlighted words are some of the more nuances, epimysium, paramysium, but it doesn't really matter. As long as you understand that it sort of gets broken down and each muscle has somewhere on the order of thousands of muscle fibers. Okay. So now we start talking about muscle fibers. And what are the components of the muscle fiber?
Okay.
So the muscle fiber, aka the muscle cell, all muscle cells have, or all cells have, did you ever make that diorama?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I made a cake. I baked a cake and I like decorated it, and then we got to eat the cake.
Name some parts. Mitochondria. Okay, so the mitochondria. So this has a mitochondria in it.
Mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell.
That's right.
The powerhouse of the cell.
And then what else is in there? It's sort of at the center. It's the nucleus. So here's the nucleus.
God, I'm so good.
And then here you can see that there's the mitochondria. It doesn't show it very well, but it's in there somewhere. And we'll learn about the mitochondria in coming chapters. It's very important. It is the powerhouse of the cell, but it's more nuanced than that. Obviously.
Myofibril, sarcoplasm.
There's these, this is called the sarcoplasmic reticulum, this yellow stuff right here. And we'll kind of talk about that as we go along, but we're just sort of breaking down what's in each fiber. Nucleus, mitochondria, the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Mm-hmm. And I think that's all the important stuff. Okay.
And this is the myofibril.
Yeah, myofibril. So
many little myofibrils in the cell.
In the cell.
Okay. Interesting. And the nucleus is over here.
Yeah.
But this around is not the nucleus. The nucleus is this little purpley dot.
Correct. The white stuff around is it's like a sheath. Here it's called the fasciculus, but as you get bigger, it's called other things. But it's
also kind of the fascia.
Kind of. Yeah.
At least for our understanding, we can call it that.
Exactly. It's the thing that kind of holds all of these groups of myofibrils.
That, we have the yellow thing.
The yellow things?
Which is the sarcoplasmic reticulum.
Yes.
Which is fun to say.
It is.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. And within the sarcoplasmic reticulum is the T-tubules, but it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
They serve an important component that we'll talk about, but I think just knowing those basic pieces.
Cool.
It's very similar to a normal cell. This is why you learn the components of a cell, because each cell is different. Muscle cell.
Yeah, that looks quite different than what the cake I made was.
But it has the same components.
Just organized a little differently.
Okay. And then to kind of zoom out a little bit, we have the nerve.
The nerve.
So this is the neuromuscular system. So it's the nerves attachment to the muscle. We won't dive super deep on nerves or neurology. That's in, I think, chapter 3.
Which I'm looking forward to.
It's very exciting.
It is. That's fun.
That's kind of a pun because it's called nerve excitement, excitation.
Wow. Such a nerd.
But I think one important thing to talk about with this neuromuscular system is the connection between the nerve and the muscles. So this is a completely different cell. This is the nerve. This is the nucleus of the nerve, and it can live somewhere in the central nervous system. So in the spine or in the brain. It kind of just depends on what muscle it is and sort of what this nerve is driving.
Yeah.
But the main components is the nerve nucleus lives somewhere in the central nervous system, and then you have this long line of nerve that travels down the body and goes into the actual muscle fiber.
So cool.
The connection between the nerve and the muscle is called the synaptic cleft. This is the gap in between the nerve and the muscle. And so the way that they communicate is with calcium. And this is called, let's see, should be in here somewhere. Not adenosine triphosphate. What is it called? Doesn't really matter what it's called. It's on here. It says ACH, acetylcholine. Okay, so acetylcholine. So basically, the nerve gets stimulated, whether it's through like a direct action, like I want to lift my arm, and I think about lifting my arm. It goes all the way down the nerve to that specific muscle. Mm-hmm. And then there's these little things that get pushed into the synaptic cleft, which carries over the information into the muscle. And then it stimulates the muscle to contract. Okay, so nerve, you think about moving it, nerve fires.
Moves down along the line, arrives to the muscle, message is released, message is received, muscle contracts.
Yep.
Okay, tracking.
So we're gonna mainly talk about the muscles here,
okay,
and how sort of once the information goes from the nerve to the muscle, what happens at the muscular level.
Cool.
So we talked about these yellow things.
Sarcoplasmic reticulum.
Yes. It stores calcium. A bunch of calcium. It's just got a ton of calcium in there. And whenever the nerve stimulates the muscle, it releases the calcium and it pushes
like a little calcium spritzer.
Yes.
It goes.
Sprays it. Really, it like oozes.
Oh.
It just oozes all over. Because you see how the sarcoplasmic reticulum is surrounding all these myofibrils.
Got it. So it's like within and around. It's not just around, but it's around and within.
And so it sort of saturates, and calcium is just kind of leaked everywhere. Mm-hmm. The myofibril gets broken down into two parts, the myosin, the actin. It doesn't really matter, but I think it is interesting just knowing that there is these two components.
I think it's very interesting.
And calcium gets saturated on this. Mm-hmm. This is the same thing.
This is the muscle.
Yes.
Just broken down into a handy dandy little.
That way we can see it.
Thing that we can see a little better.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're representing here is the myosin and the actin.
Yes. The red and the blue.
Being the actin and the blue being the myosin.
Correct.
Got it.
Okay, so calcium gets released. Mm-hmm. Which causes a complex thing. It binds to, I don't remember which, one of these myosin or actin, and it sort of causes the muscle contraction. Mm-hmm.
The way I've always understood it and the way I think about it is...
Yes.
Like this.
That's called the power
sliding
stroke.
Filament.
The sliding filament theory.
The sliding filament theory.
Yes.
The filaments slide. But it's a theory.
I think it's beyond a theory now. I think it's proven, yeah.
What is it once it's proven? Not a theory anymore.
I think it becomes a law, but I don't think that, like gravity.
Yeah.
The laws.
The law of gravity. It's not the theory of gravity.
It's not a theory anymore.
No one's arguing about it.
Nah.
Should we be?
Maybe.
Everything's possible.
So calcium gets released. It binds to one of these guys. It causes a reaction. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, what happens is something to do with ATP.
Adenosine triphosphate.
So this gets a little confusing, but it's very, very interesting. Okay. Adenosine triphosphate.
I said it wrong.
So tri Means 3.
I said that part right.
What did you say?
I just said adenosine, but you said
whatever.
adenosine.
I think it's the same thing.
Okay. Triphosphate, 3 phosphates.
3 phosphates. So there's an adenosine with 3 phosphate groups attached to it. And the attachment of those wields power. So when you break apart one phosphate group,
energy goes.
Power gets released. So during this sort of transfer of energy, when you take off a phosphate group off of ATP, energy gets released and it gets used up by the myofibril to create the power stroke. And the power stroke is basically what you were talking about. Yes. This thing called the globular head, you can see this here. The globular head grabs on to the actin, the red stuff, and it does this thing called the power stroke. Grabs on and it pulls it, which takes energy.
Yes, that makes sense.
So now ATP has released a phosphate group and now it becomes ADP.
ADP,
Diphosphate. And then in a later chapter, we'll talk about how another phosphate group gets put back on to replenish ATP.
Okay.
There's
ATP replenishment.
There's a bunch of different ways. And this is basically bioenergetics. There's creatine, there's glycolysis, there's the aerobic system. So all these different things.
Energy systems.
Energy systems.
Okay.
All these different things really only work
That's going to be in a later chapter.
That's going to be in a later chapter.
Energy systems.
Yeah.
Okay. And all these things work to put a phosphate back.
Correct.
To recreate the potential for that. Okay.
There's a little bit of chemistry involved in this, and sort of the idea is, because one of my questions was like, well, why can't, it's still got 2 phosphate groups.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Why can't you just use the other 2 phosphates? Opposites attract. So a positive and a negative, they want to be close together. Phosphate, I don't remember if it's positive or negative, but all the phosphate groups are the same sign. They're either positive or negative. Let's just say, for instance, they're all positive.
Got it.
So one group of one phosphate attaches to adenosine fairly easy. The second one is a little bit harder, and the third one is really hard. So once it's attached, it's almost like a loaded spring.
Interesting.
And so taking that third triphosphate group, boom, all this energy is released with the second phosphate group because it kind of wants to be attached to adenosine because there's only one more.
There's not much potential energy there.
There's not much potential energy. And then with the last phosphate, there's barely any energy.
It's hardly worth it anymore.
They kind of want to be next to each other anyways.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the more sort of similarly charged molecules that you have, the more energy that you get.
Interesting. So does it happen where you take the other phosphates? It doesn't.
No, not to my knowledge.
It's the third phosphate that ditches, creates the power.
Yep.
But the second and the first, they stay.
Correct.
They always stay because they're happy in their family. It's just the estranged phosphate.
Third one. Yeah.
Third.
It's always the third child.
Is tough.
Yeah. Okay, so that energy creates the power stroke from the globular head. That's the thing that pulls these guys together.
Okay.
Which creates shortening of the muscle.
Fabulous. Shortening of the muscle, i.e. contraction.
Contraction.
Okay. Muscular contraction caused by a nerve signal where at the rectoplasmic reticulum? Sarcoplasmic reticulum. Okay. Signal is sent from the nerve down along the line. At the sarcoplasmic reticulum, the calcium is released. The message is saturated into the muscle. That reacts with the actin or myosin, whichever one it is, and it causes the contraction.
Power stroke.
Power stroke.
Yep.
Okay. Tracking.
It loses the third triphosphate in that power stroke. And then another ATP gets bound, and then it creates the power stroke again. Another one gets bound, creates the power stroke again. And it's, yeah.
And it's what?
I wasn't 100% sure of what I was about to say.
Okay.
I had an idea, but I was like, I don't know.
All right.
But one thing that I did want to mention, which is a fun little tidbit,
Ooh, fun little tidbit.
is calcium.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I had questions about the calcium.
Okay, so you have to have calcium.
Yeah. And what if you don't?
Yeah. Well, here's what I was going to say, is that it takes calcium to make the contraction.
Yes.
All right, so when someone dies, all of the calcium gets released.
Is that why?
This is why you get rigor mortis. This is why people are stiff when they die, because all of the calcium is released, and so it's just a constant contraction until they run out of ATP. And so this is why, if you ever watch CSI, me and my wife are watching CSI right now, they can tell how long this person has been dead based on the rigor mortis.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
How long does it take
No idea.
for the ATP to run out?
I don't know.
Okay, your fun fact good about
Yeah, sorry.
But that is still a fun
Yeah.
fact. That's very interesting. Okay, and what if we are depleted of calcium? What if there's not? What if I don't have enough calcium? That sounds like a problem.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happens if you don't have calcium, because your body is very efficient.
That's a good point. And you have calcium stores places, so probably if you are nutritionally deficient,
It will pull from somewhere.
Yeah. From your bones, women, from your bones. It'll pull from your bones, and then you'll get osteoporosis. That's what'll happen, actually.
Probably.
Sorry, I'm putting it together. It's pretty important that we're not nutrient deficient.
So
Please eat enough.
basic components of how the contraction happens. And then the next thing is kind of what we talked about with ATP and how that works. This is the sliding filament theory.
Mm-hmm. This is the sliding filament theory.
Yep, and you can see here how ATP, and then now it goes
Slides along, creates a power
ADP.
stroke. Now it's ADP. It needs to be replenished.
There's the phosphate group,
Okay.
and then it gets replenished, and then it completes the contraction again. Cool. Okay, so that's the basics of how a contraction works.
That makes sense.
And
Tracking. It's clocking for me.
so we're gonna move into what muscles can do and sort of different types of muscles.
Oh.
So everybody's heard about type 1 and type 2. Type 1, slow or
Slow
fast?
twitch.
Slow twitch.
Type 2, fast twitch. Boom, bam.
And there's a couple different types. There's type 2A and type 2X. Type 2X is even more fast twitch.
Super fast.
Super fast. It's got the X. It's all
Damn.
cool.
Fast as fuck, boy.
Type A is like, you suck.
You're just like pretty fast.
Yeah.
You're just like kind of fast.
And I think one interesting thing is that you can change it.
That is super cool.
You can change type 1 to type 2.
It's very interesting.
Some people genetically are born with more type 1 or type 2, and this is why, some people are just really good endurance athletes, or some people are very fast twitch, they can jump really high. Obviously, some of it has to do with like limb length and leverage and stuff like that.
Yeah. But as far as the muscle fiber,
Yes.
everyone has like a natural lean, but you can develop.
You can change it.
You can change it.
And the only way that you can change it
Is by doing the thing.
doing the thing.
You gotta do the thing.
Yeah, which is kind of cool
It is really
because it just shows
Your
you
body
that like
adapts to what you do.
can change it.
It's very malleable.
You were born with this, but you can change it. It's gonna be hard, but it can happen.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay, so
Wait, before we move on.
Yes.
I just thought it would be kind of fun if we did like, type 1, type 2A, and type 2X, or the 3. Could you just give me like 3 examples of like people that would be very representative of like, type 1, very steady, calm people that are in the East Austin community?
Oh, you want like direct?
Type 1, go.
Type 1.
Describe the muscle fiber, then drop the name.
Type 1, slow twitch, Bill.
Bill.
Bill's slow twitch.
Yeah, this is funny.
Yeah.
Calm, steady. All right, type 2A, pretty fast.
Maybe you.
Me.
You're pretty springy. Beep,
I
beep,
am.
beep, beep. Beep bopping
Actually,
around.
I am pretty fast. Yeah. All right, now type 2X.
Type 2X.
Who's the boom, punchy, super fast? Who is it? Oh my God, don't.
Could be me. Could be me.
It could be you.
Could be.
It
But
could
I don't
be
know.
you. You're pretty fast. If it's
Yeah.
not you, who else is?
I will say though, I think this is true. I think I am pretty heavily type 2, and here's my reasoning. So quick story.
Yeah.
I was in the Marine Corps. I was a machine gunner, carrying heavy things for long periods of time.
Yeah.
That's type 1.
That is type 1.
That's all type
That's
1.
grunty, endurance-y.
I was a grunt.
Mm-hmm.
It's grunty. It's just funny that you said that. So I went on a 20-mile hike with machine guns and a 60-pound pack and a rifle. So somewhere around, I don't know, maybe 150 pounds.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
That's
for 20 miles.
That's more than the entirety of me.
That's carrying you on my back for 20 miles.
Plus some water. Me and a couple jugs of water.
Camelback.
Yep.
I didn't properly fuel.
You silly goose.
I cramped up. I was pounding water, but I didn't understand electrolytes. And I cramped up.
Yikes.
And my whole body just seized. Like I just couldn't go on. I was on the ground. And I was so ashamed of myself because it wasn't a will thing. My body just, I couldn't move my body anymore.
Yeah.
And then I figured out this thing called electrolytes and fueling, carbs, and all that stuff. And so that helped.
Yeah.
But I found out that other people, they don't need to do that. They can make it the entire time.
Interesting.
I think it's because my muscles are relatively inefficient.
Yeah,
They
me too.
they use a ton of ATP.
I really die on hikes and my friends are fine. I'm like, I swear I work out. This is embarrassing.
I know I'm in good shape. Just blame it on your types.
It's my type 2A muscle fibers.
It's my fiber type. I'm sorry I was
My
born like
fiber type.
this.
This is just how I am. I need to work hard to develop my type 1. And I am.
Are you?
No.
No, you're not.
I'm really not. But I have previously developed my type 1. And I utilize it sometimes. It's not
When you
much.
talk.
It's not much.
Okay. So now, still talking about different fiber types. Type 1, kind of a breakdown. This is sort of what energy system they use.
Okay. Which
Fast
we'll get
twitch.
into energy systems later.
This is talking about sort of nerve recruitment and what nerves they use depending on the fiber type.
Ooh, and we're going to get into that in the nerve chapter.
Yes.
Which I'm very excited about. Okay.
And then this is pretty interesting. This talks about,
Move your hands so they can see it.
sorry, this talks about different athletes and their different muscle groups and the composition of that specific muscle group. What percentage is type 1 and what percentage is type 2?
Very interesting. Okay, so we're looking at, in this first example, we have sprint runners. We're looking at their calf.
Their
essentially.
calf.
So we have males and females. So in sprint runners, males, their calf muscle is 24% type 1 and 76% type 2, so very fast twitchy. And then for females, it's 27 and 73, so also very, very fast twitchy. But now
Interesting point.
Yeah.
Females
Have higher.
have higher type 1.
Generally speaking, females have higher type 1, right?
Yes.
We're more naturally inclined to be
Yes.
more type 1.
I don't know if you pay attention to, what's it called? Like people running 200 miles. What is it called?
Oh, like ultras?
Yeah, ultras. A lot of the top runners are females.
Yeah, and also a lot of females will get better in their performance and their endurance racing as they get older. And that can be attributed to, as we age, we lose, well, tell me if this is right, but my understanding is that you have less type 2 muscle fibers.
Interesting.
And I mean, this is all a result of what you use or don't use,
100%.
right? Like that is why those fibers are decreased, because you're not utilizing them, especially if you're doing endurance sports. Then you're continuing to develop the type 1. But over time, you have this like ratio lean where your type 1 gets more and more and more prevalent, so you get actually more and more efficient at your sport.
I want to kind of break down what you said because it's really, really important. And you said it very fast, and I don't know if people picked it up. Okay, so you said that women have primarily or more type 1 fibers, and as they age, maybe they're getting better, 1, because of training, and 2, because they start to lose their type 2. But you also said that they're not training their type 2.
Yeah. You lose it because you aren't using it.
Exactly.
It's a use it or lose it situation.
And so I think something important is research. People are so quick to read the summary or the discussion or the results without reading sort of the intro and all of the nuances of this, because I think that's important. And you'll probably see a lot of studies saying, hey, women, as you get older, you just kind of naturally lose your type 2. But there may or may not take into account that they're just not training this. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's a common fault in papers, is missing that little extra piece. And they don't put that in there. Sometimes they do, but not all the time. And you especially miss it if you don't take the time to actually read through the nuances of the paper. Mm-hmm. And so this gets sort of extrapolated, and now people take it as like, well, I can't jump.
I'm getting older.
I'm just getting older.
And as I age, I lose my type 2.
Yes.
I'm less explosive, less powerful.
Yep.
But you can stay explosive. You can stay powerful.
Yeah. Obviously, some is genes, but I would say the majority of it is, what are you doing? You're just not jumping enough.
The body's malleable. It's adapting to what we're doing.
Yes.
So,
okay.
So then if we look at distance runners.
Yes, distance runners.
Same thing, we're looking at their calf. Type 1, males 79%, females 69% type 1. Type 2, 21 and 31. So distance runners going for a long time, tons of type 1. Like, those ratios are so crazy. Mm-hmm. It's very interesting. Like, so we're looking at, like, now we've got cyclists, swimmers, weightlifters. The weightlifters, though, they have a pretty even spread. You've got, for men, 44 type 1, for women, 56 type 2. Oh, it's both for men. Gosh. Yeah. There's not even women for the weightlifters, but that's okay. That's annoying. But anyway, what I was saying is their type 1 and type 2 are actually pretty comparable, which is interesting. Mm-hmm. Where my curiosity is going is, as I think about aging, like, what distribution would I love to have when I'm 80? You know, like, what would be cool? Yeah. Because I'm going to have both. I want both. But it seems to me that, like, there's a lot of advantage in preserving as much of my type 2 as I can. 100%.
And if we look at this, so there's people that aren't working out, shot putters, canoeists, triathletes, weightlifters. Mm-hmm. This is kind of,
Wait, you said people who aren't working out?
Non-athletes.
Oh, non-athletes.
Yeah,
I thought you meant
people who aren't
we've got people who aren't working out. Shot putters, canoeists, and triathletes. It's like, I think they work out.
But look at the difference in type 2 between sprinters and weightlifters. You would expect weightlifters...
I would expect weightlifters to have pretty high type 2.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think this proves the point of jumping and running. Because sprinters, sure, they're running, but really it's a plyometric exercise. So the importance of jumping and developing and preserving this type 2.
So it's not just moving heavy weight. It's not just strength, but it's that explosivity.
Yes.
It's the speed.
It's the speed.
It's the speed. It's almost like you know that, and that's why you wrote in our speed strength cycle.
That's right. That's why I have so much jumping.
Yeah, we do a lot of jumping.
Okay, one other kind of...
Wow, this is fun.
...thing that I wanted to talk about that I think is important is this size principle. Okay. So, as you're doing any sort of thing, that whether it's athletic or not, the smallest muscle will get contracted first.
Interesting. Wait, the smallest muscle, like the smallest muscle group?
The smallest, I'm going to flip the pages.
Or like the smallest muscle fiber.
The smallest muscle fiber. So
it kind of goes from like inside to outside.
Yes. So, here it shows there's different shapes, different... So each myofibril is different. Okay. Because, let's pretend that this is a bicep. Some people don't have as much supination. And so this changes the angle of my bicep and where the force gets transferred. It doesn't necessarily just get transferred directly this way, because we have so many different ropes that are our muscles. Sometimes it gets pulled harder here than it does on this side. So some will get stimulated more than others. And so the ones with type 1, which are generally smaller, will get contracted first.
Okay.
And this happens because they're less dependent on ATP. They have the ability to contract forever. So if I'm doing something and...
Because they have the ability to be aerobic.
They have the ability to be aerobic.
Okay.
So your body chooses those first because it's efficient.
It's the most efficient pathway.
So if I'm walking, it uses type 1. Maybe a little bit of type 2 when you push off, or if you've got to take a big...
skip up a little curb or
something. But the majority of the time, it's as soon as you start to walk at a faster pace, it'll start to recruit the bigger muscles, aka the type 2 muscles. So I think this is another point that proves pushing yourself hard. Because if you want to start to recruit these type 2 fibers, you have to push really hard.
Right, that they're not going to turn on unless we turn them on.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not going to respond unless we use them.
Your body wants to be efficient.
Right, which is good. We love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to push hard in order to keep these type 2 fibers up. Not only does it have to be specific, but you also have to put intensity into it. Or else you're just kind of working the aerobic fibers and you're not really stimulating these type 2 fibers. And what happens is once you stimulate enough of your type 2 fibers, your body will kind of recognize that it needs more type 2 fibers. But if you're never touching the type 2, they just kind of die down. So in order to get more type 2, you have to contract as many as you can so your body can recognize, hey, we don't have enough for the thing that we're doing.
Hey, this is a thing we're going to do. I need you to be ready to do it.
We have to protect it.
Yeah.
So we need more type 2. So
can we back this up just a little bit and maybe give a couple of examples of movements that would like be using type 1 or type 2? So what's coming to mind for me is like if I'm pretty strong at push-ups and I'm just doing like pretty chill normal push-ups or maybe even like knee push-ups. Mm-hmm. That could feasibly be a lot of type 1.
Correct.
My question is twofold. Number one, do I start to tap into type 2 when I get explosive? So like turning it into a plyo? Mm-hmm. Yes. Do I also start to tap into type 2 when I reach failure? When I get towards the end of my set? No, it's only the explosivity.
Because why is someone reaching failure?
Because the muscle no longer like is contracting.
Why?
Because it's out of ATP?
Yes.
Okay.
It can no longer produce ATP. So if you're
used up the fuel source.
Yes, it used up the fuel source.
Of the type 1.
Yep. And I mean possibly of the type 2.
And possibly of the type 2.
Uh-huh.
But to access the type 2, we need to be explosive and intense.
Yes.
Not necessarily reaching failure.
Correct. Because if we reach failure, it's more of the endurance side.
Yeah.
And we're really, really challenging the type 1 fibers to use ATP aerobically.
Cool. Whereas to develop type 2, we want lower volume, higher intensity.
Yes.
So explosive, punchy, speedy, quick.
Yep.
And it should be an output that we could not sustain.
Yes.
For a long set.
Correct.
And if we're doing our lower volume, speedy, punchy, explosive, quick work and feeling like, well, that was kind of easy, I feel like I could do that 10 more times, then you got it wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Go on.
Cool. We're learning.
We're learning.
Okay, so that's the size principle. And then this is the last thing, and then we'll go back to the question.
We'll figure out if I was right.
Yes.
Yay!
Let's find this.
The last thing.
The last thing. Okay, here we go. So this is talking about types of muscle contractions.
Oh, yeah.
What are the different types of muscle contractions?
Concentric, eccentric, isometric.
Yep. There's
Concentric,
this.
Eccentric.
Has another one.
Isometric.
Dynamic. I'm not saying that the book is wrong.
It's confusing.
I think it just makes it more confusing. Okay, so let's just go back to this sliding filament theory with the actin and the myosin.
Okay.
And I want you to picture a concentric contraction. So just for the listeners, concentric contraction is shortening of the muscle. So I'm talking about my bicep is shortening. So when it's shortening, these blue and, really these two blue lines are coming closer together.
Contraction.
With the help of the globular head. It's pulling in that direction, shortening.
Yes.
Okay, the interesting thing is eccentric. The globular heads move this way.
Yeah.
Using ATP. They don't really move this way using ATP.
Right, which is the eccentric.
Which is the eccentric. Lengthening. So this is why eccentrics cause more damage.
Yes.
The
Give
eccentric.
yourself a lot faster with the eccentric.
Yeah. The eccentric portion requires less energy, if maybe any energy at all. I know it requires nerve stimulation to kind of hold on to the contraction and slow it down, but I don't really know, and it doesn't really go into super detail, and I've never really done much research about the eccentrics, but it is interesting to think about. We're sort of working in opposition to the globular head. The globular head is pulling this way, and so what we're doing is doing the opposite. We're lengthening that globular head, and what happens is it tears.
Oh my gosh.
It just gets ripped off.
That's what happens.
That's what happens. So when you work out, you're tearing your muscles.
Okay, I knew that, but I just never really thought about the globular head being torn off. We're just ripping all the little heads off.
We're just ripping these things off.
So we go actin-myosin, go with the globular.
And they're trying to do that. They're trying to hold on to this little thing.
I've got my globular head, and it goes. And then when I do the eccentric, it's like holding on for your dear life as it's lengthening, and then it just gets ripped off.
Yes.
I love that.
But, so we've got myofibrils.
Okay.
Right? Look at how many blue and red lines are in here. And we're only seeing the surface. We're not talking about all in the center. And then look at how many of these are inside of this muscle cell. And look at how many of those are inside of the muscle.
Very many globular heads.
Yes.
So there's a lot of potential if we can pick off all their little heads.
Yep.
And they're fine.
They're
okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Until they're not.
Until they're not.
Until they're not. This is why intensity matters. And having a good coach to push you the right amount matters. Right. Because you can injure yourself.
We need to tear their heads off, but we don't need to tear the heads off of all of them.
We want to keep some.
If we tear the heads off of all the globulars, then we're looking at a problem.
Yeah.
We just need to tear off enough.
Most of the time it's rhabdo.
Most of the time it's rhabdo if we tear off too many heads.
Yeah. And then the last one is isometric.
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
So I'm not over the globular head thing.
Yeah.
And I'm really wishing that globular head was easier to say with how much I'm wanting to say it. Okay, I just want to wrap this up. So I've got tons and tons of muscle cells. So we're just going to visualize like beach ball size.
Yes.
In my beach ball size, maybe like little spaghetti noodles, or even smaller, maybe hairs. All of those are muscle cells. And those are where the globular head grabs, and then the globular head gets ripped off when we control the eccentric, which is where the damage comes from. But we have potential for all of them. So let's say I do a workout and 33% of my globular heads get torn off. I would like to think that they're like somewhat equally distributed, the distribution of the globular heads that get torn off, but that's a question for another day, but they're probably not. But there's still 70% of my globular heads that have not been torn off.
Sure.
And there's a threshold that we can cross where if we tear off too many heads, that's a problem.
Yep.
But we need to tear them off to generate growth.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
tracking.
I think if you tear 30% of your globular heads,
is that a problem?
I think we're looking at like maybe a type 1 strain.
Okay. So it's not
where 30% of your muscle is torn.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's
So
a lot.
It's less than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you say the heads get torn off,
I think
it's-
even 1% is probably a lot.
Okay, so they get torn off, but it's not like every single globular head gets torn off. Just that's okay. I'm really hung up on the heads getting torn off thing.
Yeah.
But that's the eccentric that you're talking about.
That's the eccentric.
We tear the head off on the globular head.
Yep.
Okay, great.
And so this is why there's a lot of new evidence saying the eccentric portion is sort of the most important for hypertrophy. Trying to grow muscles, you have to tear more muscle. The eccentric portion tears more muscle.
And hypertrophy means building muscle tissue.
Trying to get jacked.
Trying to get jacked. Trying to get big. It's a miracle. It's still on. It's a Christmas miracle.
I think that's...
Okay, wait, but let's talk about isometric.
Okay, sure.
Sorry, go ahead. What's isometric?
So isometric is no movement.
Fixed range.
Yep, static.
And that can be anywhere. So if I choose to hold a dumbbell right here and just hold it here, this is isometric because I'm not changing shape. If I choose to hold it up here, that's isometric because it's not changing shape.
As long as there's no movement.
And what do we like about isometric in terms of like practical implementation?
Are you talking about strength-wise, or are you talking about for like rehab? Because they can be used in multiple different...
Let's talk strength-wise first.
Okay, strength-wise...
Because we used isometrics in our last cycle.
Yes.
We did some cool isometrics where we set them up like isometric good morning and these isometric split squats. Isometrics that I've never done before because I've done like hollow body hold, I've done a plank, I've done like a wall sit, but we got really creative with it to use the isometric contraction in some different shapes. Why is that valuable?
You're not moving.
Yep.
So you get to kind of spare your muscles a little bit, and there's no tearing off of the heads, so there's less soreness. You can repeat it a bunch of times.
We can make it really hard without creating a lot of breakdown.
Yeah, and the main driver is the nerve.
This is right.
Because the harder that you push isn't necessarily
generating more. It's not generating movement, but it's still generating.
You're generating force. Yeah. You're generating more force, but the sort of primary driver there is the nerve, because we talked about you only get part of the muscle stimulated with an easier movement. But if you're pushing as hard as you can, you're getting the entire muscle. Type 1, type 2, type 2A, type 2X, you're getting the whole thing like to light up.
We're like taking up the volume of the signal.
100%. We're turning it up.
I think it's gain. I think it's the gain. It's the magic. It's the magic whatever. Anyway, we're turning up the volume of that to send the signal, and we're sending the signal to like the whole thing.
And it's purely the nerve.
It's just the nerve.
It's just the nerve that's doing that. It's not the ability of the muscles to produce force.
Because they're not contracting.
They're not moving anywhere. It's purely just...
But it's really hard.
It's really freaking hard.
I get shaky so fast, even when I demonstrate it. When I turn it on, it's like 2 seconds into my demonstration.
I think this is also another example of... Or this is an example of like... a woman's kid is trapped in her car, and her brain's sort of limiter is gone. So she's lifting that thing up because it's pure neural drive. She didn't work out. She's not deadlifting, but she has the ability to lift these things up. Maybe she tore some muscles, but her nervous system is pushing so hard to create so much force. So most of the time in the gym, there's sort of a limiter because you don't want to injure yourself. Maybe you're like, I have to go to work after this. And it's kind of unconscious. Maybe sometimes it's conscious. But you put a limitation on yourself to not push that hard. And so it dampens down how much
output you have. Whereas in a dire situation, when it's life or death, the brain turns that off. And it's like, do whatever you need to do. Interesting. So an isometric allows us to override that a little bit and send a little more signal.
Yep. So we get a lot more
Yeah.
strength gains. It's very specific to that position and to that muscle. Whereas like if you're going through the full range of motion, you kind of get a little bit more variety of strength in a variety of different ranges of motion. So this is why it's good to go through full range of motion. So the isometric, if you're doing it at the 90 degrees, you're really only going to be developing
at the 90 degrees.
Yeah.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
But that's super cool. The other thing that I found valuable when I was coaching the isometrics that I really liked is that people were really able to tune into like the awareness of their positioning.
Yeah.
And that they were able to get like really good engagement and awareness of where their body is in space, especially for putting like power and energy like into the barbell, creating a strong connection first and feeling that strong connection in the isometrics was very valuable because there's not any expectation that it's going to move. So they're not creating weird shapes for the sake of the lift, that the whole focus is on making these great shapes and maintaining those great shapes as they
pull as hard as they can.
Right. And so I saw a lot of benefit in like, especially deadlifting, like doing the setup for the split stance translated very well to their ability to maintain tension well while they deadlifted, and I liked that.
In rehab,
Yes.
typically we start with isometrics because you're not damaging the muscle. You're purely just getting the connection to the muscle. You're just getting it turned on.
Just turn on the signal.
You're just turning on the signal.
Beep, beep,
Yep.
beep, beep.
So they're very, very safe, especially when someone's in a lot of pain or someone post surgical. They, you want to kind of protect the tissues that just got operated on. So isometrics are a very nice place to start.
Cool.
If you're in pain, it's a very nice place to start because you can start to get some confidence in your ability to push without actually damaging the tissue any further if you have a torn muscle or something like that.
Cool. That definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. So anything else before we circle it back to
The question. No.
Rad.
Yeah,
It's
I think
just
that's
that
it.
I'm really kind of feeling like I was right.
Okay, so do you want to re-answer? So I'll ask the question again.
Yeah.
What component of the neuromuscular system is the main driver in strength gains or strength loss?
Strength gains or strength loss?
And your answer was the communication.
The communication. So the neuro signaling.
I want you to be yes.
Yeah.
It's the nerve.
It's the nerve.
It's the ability of the nerve to send information to stimulate the muscle to do work. So it's not necessarily the muscle's fault. It's not that you're getting stronger because of the muscle, it's you're getting stronger because of the nerves.
Because of the nerves.
And also the opposite for loss. If someone has an injury and they're in a sling for a really long time and they're never activating that muscle, the nervous system isn't stimulating that muscle anymore, and so it starts to shrink.
So it's to turn the volume down.
And a great example of that is a cervical disc injury. Typically when people have like a bulging disc in their neck, they'll get some weakness in their tricep. And it's not that the muscle is weak.
Every time we talk about this, it freaks me out.
It's the connection. They just can't push as hard. And it feels really strange. And they don't really understand why. They're like, I'm pushing as hard as I can, but it's just
But
so
the signal's
weak.
not going through.
There's very little signal, so just can't stimulate to create the tension.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah.
Interesting. Cool. So I was pretty right.
You were right. 100%. You just needed some better language.
Okay. Well, that's how it goes a lot.
I think before we end it,
Yeah.
we'll just preview
Yeah.
Chapter
What's
2.
next?
Chapter 2 is bioenergetics. This is what we were talking about
The ATP.
with
stuff.
ATP.
The
So
ATP, the energy systems,
Yes.
aerobic, anaerobic, creatine phosphate.
Yep.
Okay.
And we're not necessarily talking about how to build all that stuff. This is just a basic introduction on what the different energy systems are, how they work, and then we'll kind of dabble in, what
workouts, like what types of exercise.
Yeah.
Use what types of things.
But there is another chapter for specifically developing the PCR, the glycolytic, the oxidative, and how to develop those. And so we can go in more depth on those things.
Fun. Okay. If someone is listening and they're an athlete or, they're a jiu-jitsu athlete, they want to get better at their jiu-jitsu, give them the 2-sentence spiel on why that could help their game. Why having an understanding of energy systems and developing energy systems can make things better.
I think, one, it'll help you understand your sport a little bit better because it'll help you recognize which of these systems you primarily use, which can help guide training. I think a lot of people do themselves a disservice. It's hard not to because it's so fun, but they just go super, super hard. But if you want to get better and you want to start to change some of these things, like let's say you're competing and you notice yourself starting to gas out, or if you're doing the gi and your grips gas out, or you have a hard time toreando passing and you just, I just don't have that speed. I just can't hop around. Understanding these different systems will help guide how to fix these things and how to train them in jiu-jitsu, so you can be a little bit more specific with your training to actually see changes rather than just going balls to the wall the entire time. You're just wow, I'm exhausted, but you're not actually getting any improvements.
Yeah, you're getting tougher.
But
maybe not more effective.
Yeah,
I love that. That's great. Yeah, I think energy systems has been a fun one. The understanding that I gleaned from my CrossFit and OPEX days made jiu-jitsu very interesting. So I was years and years and years of doing CrossFit and trying to hone different energy systems. I have such an awareness of my body that I know what I'm using when, and I know when I'm tapping into something. I know when that is going to be less available, about how long I have in each window, and it helps me make smarter decisions when I'm rolling, and it helps me stay calmer because I know what threshold is and is not available for durations of time. So I think you said it in a really clear, accessible way, and I just made it confusing and convoluted.
No, that was good.
But I think both are good because now they're curious.
Yeah. What is she talking about?
She's just saying a bunch of weird stuff. Cool. All right. This was rad.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us. Chapter 2. Bioenergetics. If you have questions, leave them in the comments. Let us know. Ask us at the gym. We'll catch you guys next time. Adios.